Well, now on one of our top stories, the Prime Minister Scott Morrison will fly to Rome today to meet with the G20 leaders before making his way to Glasgow for the climate summit. The government maintains Australia will be refusing to back a 30% reduction in methane emissions during next week's talks. Joining me live is Gordon Flake. He's the CEO of the Perth USAsia Centre. Gordon, good to see you. Those new 2030 methane reduction cuts, they're being pushed by the United States. How do you expect Australia's position will be received?
Yeah, I have little expertise on the specifics of the methane emissions. I do know that both Australia and the US have some similar challenges in terms of bringing together a domestic coalition to support their actions in Glasgow. President Biden has had a very forward-leaning position for the United States in these talks, but he's faced a lot of opposition in his own party. And so the same breakdown they're seeing in terms of the Democratic Party on budget issues is playing out in climate change with the senators Kyrsten Sinema from Arizona and Joe Manchin from West Virginia blocking a much more proactive view. So in the end, my guess is the U.S. is going to be worried about its own position, its own challenges, as will Australia.
And so in terms of the pressure, though, on Australia, when you talk about them expressing Joe Biden's forward-leaning view, as you described it, what form does that pressure take in terms of trying to convince Australia to go harder on those targets? Could there be a backlash in terms of economic impacts for us?
No, I'm not really worried about that. I mean, the U.S.-Australia relationship is very broad. And as we've seen from AUKUS and our work together in the Quad and our work together on vaccines and so many other issues, climate change is clearly one of those issues. It's just not, we don't have the type of relationship where disagreements on one is going to lead to backlash in the others. This is quite different than the relationship Australia has with China, where we suffered a year of economic coercion because of our calls for some transparency on the origins of COVID. So you're not going to see economic implications. Really, the challenge for Australia is the same as for the United States. It is answering to future generations. It's answering to public expectations on these issues. It's not so much a diplomatic issue on that front.